Today's video is sponsored by Abdul Rahman, a true patriot and a Kenyan nationalist at heart. Stand by for debrief in 3, 2, 1. Here are today's top stories in What in the World segment. Number 1, Governor Samuel Tanui was exposed by a Mzungu donor. Apparently what's been happening is that different American and British groups have been donating money to build classrooms, and the country sends the same picture to all donors as if they won't notice. Just check this out.
I'm here as a great promoter and supporter of WE because I've seen the impact and the transformation which they have done in the villages. As a government, you must always have to look for money elsewhere to meet some deficit in terms of your budgets.
And he made it clear, if I doubted the good work done by the charity, I was wrong.
Were you going to tell me to say we are doing a wrong job? The people who are employed there, the secondary schools which are built, were you going to tell me to say they are not doing a good job?
Your Excellency, what would you say if more money was raised for Kenya and Narok County than was actually spent in Narok County?
No, let me not comment about that.
What we've seen is with the WE charity is that when donors will donate to build a classroom in Kenya, they'll be sent a picture and they'll be told, for example, in the Senatoi, you have built a school. And they were sent that picture saying you have fully funded a classroom in the Senatoi. But what we've also noticed is another group will have funded that classroom. But when we look, we see it's the same classroom. And they've both been told that they've fully funded it. And that doesn't seem to add up.
Okay, I don't, no comment on that.
Ati no comment on that. Sasa huyu ndo governor anafaa kupelekwa around na EACC vizuri. How can you say I cannot comment on that and it's in your jurisdiction? Unless of course the money was not sent to his county and it was sent to proxies, human rights groups and so on and so forth, because then they are responsible for what they received. In that case, the governor is right to say no comment. But if it came straight to his county officials and the county coffers, maelezo ni yake, ni anani mwingine basi kama siye. Second story of the day, Didi Nyoro has come out to say that since Kibaki's time, there has not been another prudent president. In other words, yule mwenye ako hata hafai kuongelea when great presidents are being mentioned. Here's the tip.
If you track debt from year 2003, especially during President Kibaki's time, he took up the country when the debt was around 600 billion shillings. By the time he left, it was around 1.8 trillion. But I want you to see the other side of it. When President Kibaki came in, revenue collection in Kenya was 200 billion. Can you just imagine how small a country we were? We were collecting only 200 billion in ordinary revenue. When President Kibaki left, that figure was around or close to 1 trillion Kenya shillings. So if you look at the debt growth, the debt grew from 600 to 1.8 trillion. That's around maybe 200% over and above. But look at the revenue collection. The revenue collection, with the growth was like double that of debt accumulation. And I want to say, because figures don't lie, you realize that the accolades given to President Mwai Kibaki, he actually deserves more. Because now we have comparisons to do. When it was just President Kibaki's reign, there was no comparative analysis to do. Now he left in 2013. We can now do comparative analysis from then. And clearly you can see Kenya has never had a more prudent president than President Mwai Kibaki. And it is the same time we had very revolutionary expenditure lines like basic education funding and all the others, that even beyond being good in terms of growth of the economy, they also are social investments because they enhance an egalitarian society. All of us here in this hall, I can bet over 80% will not be in this hall were it not for the reforms around education during that time or regime of President Mwai Kibaki.
I think it's a no-brainer. Ruto is the worst we've ever had. Of the 5 presidents, ameshinda tu Moi. Na akiendelea hivi, he could even become the last of the last. Third and final story of the day, Mohamed Ali is now allegedly willing to work with Riggy Gachagua. Roll the tape.
Riggy Gachagua was part and parcel of our team. He campaigned for UDA. He was our deputy president. He has been impeached. He's out there. He's continuing with his politics. There's no one who is going to stop me from talking to him. There's no one who is going to stop me from having a cup of tea with.
I don't know, is this a little too late? Because why is he coming out to say he's willing to work with Gachagua after he's been rigged out of the UDA grassroots elections by Hassan Omar? Why is disaster the reason you're crossing the aisle? Sounds opportunistic if you ask me, but at the same time, for Rigathi Gachagua, he should be accepting any and all strays who are willing to come under his wing. This is how things started for Ruto. Everybody was on Uhuru's side, including Kangata, including Waiguru. Most of them had to be removed from various committees, various positions, for them to now run all the way to DP William Ruto. And he accepted even the traitors who used to insult him. And in turn, they helped him get there. So if Jichopevu wants to work with Riggy, let him do so. Asifukuzwe. Otherwise, where will you get the allies? Remember, the reason why Gachagua was impeached is because he didn't have allies. So if now he can start getting some of them, asiwakatae, if Kikapu itajaa, he'll be even able to articulate what passes in parliament. That is the power of having numbers. But at the end of the day, guys, that's all I had for you today in our What in the World segment. Do let me know your own comments in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to read them and to give you a response. And in the event you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching from a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for Hondavidwafula. Hit the subscribe button. You're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really, really need to subscribe to. All right, guys, adios. Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.